Alright, so welcome back into another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video, and today I'm actually going to finish out the archetypes for set 16, or at least the ones I really like. And today includes the Great Priest, the new red leader, which really doesn't play much red at all. But if you have really any idea or archetype or a leader that I haven't covered outside of Goku Black, since Egman already did it, which is probably another one that I really wanted to do, please put it in the comments below. And of course, check out the other exploring archetypes videos if you haven't checked those out as well, since I've covered a lot of them, and as well as some of the Master Duel stuff that I've been doing, because it's just really fun to make memes. Great Priest is really fun, and that's kind of the idea behind him, in my opinion. I think he has a good amount of potential and a lot of different ways to build him, and I built this one on a blue-yellow basis, so that way he has a good amount of cards in hand, and as well as a bunch of stuff that you can play out for kind of cheap, and as well as pretty linear, like you can just keep doing it consistently over and over again. Now he does have a few downsides, so it's a bummer, because just like the Deborah deck profile that I put out, this is more of a love type of thing that I am doing versus a competitive slash catering to most of the DBS audience, because people want to play things that win consistently and have a good time, at least topping and things like that. But I don't think Great Priest is going to be doing that anytime soon. Although if someone did do that, I don't know if that's going to be me. It would be really good to see. The reasons why I say that is because he does have a good amount of faults. As we can see here with the leader, his permanent says that you can't include non-god cards in your deck, and that you do also negate the energy exhaust costs, or energy exhaust skill, I should say, of all gods in all areas. So that does include, like on the battlefield, on the energy when you draw it in your deck, etc. That kind of comes up a little bit later. With Awakening, if you have 4 or more colors in your energy, you get to switch this card, and as well as 2 cards in your energy area to active mode, and then you take cards until you have 6 cards in your life. And this is pretty important, because this activate main is that you switch this card to rest mode and you draw one. On the back side, you do the same thing but in activate battle, and then you get to combo something with a multicolor god card in your hand, and you don't have to pay the cost. Most of them are 2 or 1 for the combo cost, which is pretty clutch. So when I first started playing this, I did not read this card, so I always forgot to switch this card. So technically you get a untap to draw 1, and then draw another on the backside, and as well as whatever cards you have in your life that is more than 6. The backside is pretty much the same thing as far as energy exhaust, and the activate battle kind of, it's the love and hate with it basically, because when you are aggressive you have to swing in order to get that activate battle, but now you're not using the combo step as a defense, as in like having a 25k leader for that battle, or to use the additional effects that you might have with all the god cards that we're going to take a look at. And then if they don't swing at your leader, if you do have a unison out, or if they swing somewhere else that doesn't have a defensive step, usually unisons, or the negate, or whatever it may be, there's a lot of different annoying things that Great Priest, as soon as you start seeing him, or at least start playing against him, you'll understand the faults of it. There are other cards like Spectate that we'll look at as well that restands him, which is okay, but one of the better cards that are in the gods archetype, which these aren't really gods, these are angels, so I guess angels is better, even though they have god in the special trait. I guess it's just better for backwards compatibility for the leader, I guess. But this Whis is basically if you have 4 or more colors in your energy, which you will as soon as you awaken, you get to use this by taking a life and not paying the cost. He's a 10k blocker, which is really good, because now you have a blocker that is for free technically, and you get to block with it, and then you have a combo step with the activate battle of the leader that you can use it and combo and protect it, or use the effects that you want afterwards. And the auto is that when he's using a combo from your hand, you get to switch one of your energy up to active mode, which is cool, because the leader, and as well as the Great Priest on the right side here, get to use it for free, and then you get to untap an energy doing that. This Vados does the same thing when you play it or when you combo with it. And so this guy is a blocker for free that you take a life, which you're gonna do. I mean, eventually you're gonna do it, especially since you're gonna be at 6 when you awaken. And the counterplay is that when you have a multicolor card in your energy, 1 or more, you play the card, and the card being played is 15k or less, it's being played at the bottom of the deck instead, which is cool because this is not leader locked. Any blue-red deck can do it. It's just that it's a 2-cost 10k, and you'll kind of continually see that this Great Priest deck is one of the biggest faults. Yes, the Great Priest, the leader, and as well as the Unison does reduce the cost to 0 basically for free. But when you're actually comboing things, you're kind of forced to use these skills instead of using the combo cost. So you're gonna have to subset those or I should say offset, with other cards in your deck where you can actually have 0/5s to combo out with. So she's really good because basically she's a 1 cost that you pay for 2. You just bottom deck at 15k and then you untap 1, or you can use the leader effect or the Great Priest effect to untap 1 afterwards and then continue your combos after. The Great Priest is you pay it for 3 colorless, or you pay 3 in case you want to play like Soul Striker or something else. You pay, or you add 1 or +1 marker for activate battle, just like the leader. Well, you switch this card to rest mode and you combo up to 1, well, switch up to 1 blue god in your energy. Can be blue red, blue green, blue whatever. You untap that and then you choose up to 1 god card with a combo cost of 1 in your hand and use it in combo. And Bandai was very specific in saying which one is a 1 cost and which one isn't. So you have to be very careful when you actually start playing this deck, which is also kind of annoying, which I kind of have to wrap up with. But the whole like learning the deck and understanding what to build, it takes forever to find a decent list for this guy, and also something that actually works pretty well. Like the support that is given is a lot because there's a good amount of god cards, and then the Realm of the Gods also has given the leader quite a lot, but the reward is not that great because there are like certain cards like the 1-cost Kai, the Secret Identity, things like that just kind of kill this deck all over the place because it has no protection whatsoever for all of these 2 costs that you're playing. And then this guy has to be in rest mode to actually be, well, active mode into rest mode to actually be effective. So rant over, but the activate battle is that you untap 1, you do combo afterwards. The auto is that when they play something greater than their energy, you have to return it to their hand after you -3. So the idea is that you can attack aggressively, combo, untap 1, and then use the combo effect, and then -3 whenever they play something past turn 3, because you're gonna have 4 markers. You can't play Trunks, the counterplay, so there's no threat of that, but the opponent won't know that because they most likely won't read your leader. And Koenig, this guy's great. He's a 2-cost offering for 1, in which basically is free because you're comboing with not the Great Priest, but the leader, where you're comboing with that for free. You're going 25k on your leader, and then you pay 1 red where you can play this from your drop area from your hand. So you combo from your hand, use it in drop area, you pay 1 red, and then you get the immediate offering. This guy's probably my favorite card out of the deck, but I only play 2 in the list that you'll see. And the reason for that is because it's just so awkward with colors. If I could and make red yellow a little bit better, as far as just making it gel a little bit better with the blue stuff that I have, then I'll probably play a playset, just because you want to resolve this as many times as you can. And it doesn't have a limit. You just keep resolving offering, and it's just going to be a good time. Kukatel is really good too. He's one of the few good red-green god cards, I would say, because you play him for 2 and he's a blocker, and it basically has offering. They can choose to draw a card, well, place 1, well, crit a life, or you draw a card and then they have to pitch 1, which is just great. Also, honestly, offering on a stick that they have to pitch 1 and you get rewarded for drawing is great. It's a 16k blocker, which is also annoying for most decks. And then these skillless cards are basically skillless because the energy exhaust is negated because of the leader in all areas. And this is important when you're playing the 2-cost, I do believe the 2-cost Whis, the SR, that you can play these guys out for free. Speaking of, so the Whis package up here is actually pretty solid. Like if you're not playing this rejuvenating support in Great Priest, you're probably doing yourself a disservice, along with the Beerus. And this guy looks at the top 3, you get a god card from it, and then you bottom deck the rest, which is great for filtering. And the activate main is that you pay 1 blue and 1 colorless, you place in the drop area, you play a blue Beerus card, energy cost of 2, which is going to be this guy or the energy exhaust guy. And then you switch up to one of your Great Priest or blue Whis cards in your leader to active mode, which is great because now you get to use it offensively, your leader. You get to untap this, and then you get to play this guy, which taps something down. And then when you attack and KO something, which you can easily use the effect of the leader to combo something for free, draw one, and then draw one after you KO something, and then you switch this to active mode, and then they bottom deck a life, which is why when you're looking at the offering, the 2-cost red-green card, and as well as a Beerus card with this Whis, they all kind of come together when you're trying to play and do a little bit more with it. And you're going to be burning life, you're going to be switching things to active mode, you're going to be abusing those type of things. Personally, that's what I've leaned towards in my list, and as well as my play style, so I highly recommend it. It just works a lot better for everything else. The other play style that I would recommend is the skillless package, where this is a 2-cost blocker when this card is played from your hand, or at the end of the battle when this card is comboed from your hand. You add up to 1 skillless battle card and then cost of 2 in your deck or drop area, add it to your hand, and then shuffle if you look through it. Additionally, if it's your opponent's turn, you play up to 1 skillless battle card and then you cost 2 from your hand and rest mode. So basically add something from your hand or your deck to your hand, which you can use it then, by the way, for energy, which is the whole point of that. And then you get to choose 1 skillless card energy cost of 2, which is going to be those 2-cost 25Ks, and then place it in rest mode on their turn. So you combo with this, or you play it from your hand, which you're going to be comboing it with the leader for free because it's a 1-cost 5K, and then you get to play the skillless afterwards. And those kind of like protect by itself because of the 25Ks. They're not going to swing into it, and if they do, then they're kind of dumb for wasting those cards. You just did it for free. And again, you use it for energy, and then you also use it for just swinging 25Ks as a beat stick. It's too bad that you can't use dimension support, but it is whatever. This is basically your dimension support. Spectate is the one card that I was talking about before. You basically use counterattack, switch your leader to active mode. You can do it for free if you have 4 or more cards, and then you get to use the activate battle effect afterwards, which is okay. I mean, I don't really see it. You might as well play the 2-cost blocker negate, which is not restricted in the deck. It's an extra card, so you may as well just do that. And then we also have these other cards where you pay 1 yellow at the end of the battle, and then you get to play it from your drop area. I don't really see these two doing too well. I mean, if you're leaning towards blue yellow heavy, which you really can't because you have to play 4 colors in general, so you have to play another multicolor set in order to awaken early and to use the effects like the red blue Whis. So I don't really agree with these cards. These are kind of bad. This one has Aegis, and this guy they're overweight. That's what they do. Okay, here's my list. I think it's pretty good. I've leaned towards more on the blue yellow side, and really the thing about this is what you have to be careful of is just charging, right? So you charge out a blue yellow in active mode, which is great. And then you play out the Goku Black to draw more, or you do other things. But then you also have the Katal to charge in order to get the red and green afterwards, or you can do the Kuso for blue and green and also charge a blue-red like the Whis or the Vados, or even probably Kai or another Kokek. We also have the Kai as my SCR choice. I think the other Kai is not that great. And I think, the 1-cost extra card, the Vermilion Saiyans, is also a really good pick. But I think just removing Unisons, because this doesn't really have that much removal in general, is really good. We have one of a Race of Universe. I didn't really talk about this because it's very niche. You're supposed to have all these colors, and then you get to burn up to 2 life, depending on how many you actually have on the field. And it doesn't really come up. Plus, you win the game if you have 12 or more, I do believe. And it's just a 0-cost 5K in your hand. We use the Hellas to draw 2, and as well as pitch whatever is just terrible in your hand. So that's great. It's a bummer that you have to pitch first, as I understand. So also a bummer that it's a 4 or less, which you're going to be using the Whis to take life afterwards. So there you go. All right, let's talk about turns real quick. Again, it's really tricky. You're going to have to play the deck more and more in order to understand how to charge. And then you have to play the deck in order to understand what you're going to be playing afterwards. But the turn ones, in my opinion, are usually going to be the 1-cost Whis to look at the top 3 to get a god, or you're going to be using these kinds, which is good against like yellow decks that play Mecha Frieza or anything that they play on your turn, basically. Or yeah, your turn. Goku Black is there in case you want to filter out your hand and get rid of stuff that is not Gucci. The Beerus, if you have the Whis out and then you want to tap down something and then swing at it, is really great. Again, the whole untap your leader and as well as untap this card and as well as bottom deck something and draw something, all of that is really good. Zamasu Eliminator is great in case you're going against like Gogeta Xeno and you're on the play, so that way you can tap down whatever they play in response. You're going to be tapping out, but usually you're going to have a pretty high life total. Kukatel is again, I can't really express enough how cool his effects are. It's not limited either, but you can just pay this for 2, or you can just charge him so that way you actually have 4 colors. The colorless pay 3 is usually the play, and then you awaken afterwards. You untap this guy, or you tap this guy, and then you untap 1, and now you have 3 more energy to play with afterwards. And then we have the Kokot or Konik. I always get that wrong. Where on the defense, while you have that energy to play with, you can use this guy with offering and just pay 1. Great Priest, the Herald, is awesome. It basically keeps your hand up because you're returning things like the Goku Black or the Isekai or the Whis, depending on what is on your field, or you swing out with these Cocktails or whatever else, and then you return them to your hand, and now you're swinging for 20k critical. So that's kind of the concept behind Herald. There's a whole top 16 version of it now, so maybe that's what they were like. Great Priest is a sleeper deck. I highly doubt that Bandai's doing that, but I mean, I just you never know. There are a lot of plays and a lot of different ways that you can build Great Priests. I highly doubt it's gonna see too much play. It's gonna be one of those decks that it's just an archetype that's for fun, and people who want to play casually or for locals, you're gonna have a really good time because there's a lot of different ways again to play the deck and a lot of lines to play too. But again, the secret identity, the 1-cost Kai that prevents 2 costs from swinging and things like that just really deter the deck, especially since you have that permanent that I don't know why they added that permanent. Even if you took away that permanent, you probably still want to play only God stuff. So I don't know. And there are a lot of cards that are gods that I haven't really mentioned, but if you take a look at DBS Deck Planet or somewhere else that you can filter it out, you can kind of go through those and build from there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know other decks that you want to see, and I'll see you in the next one.